Turns out that AI has been around for nearly a decade now, from TuroChamp to DeepBlue. In this video, we'll be covering every major breakthrough in AI technology in the past 100 years. Here's what it looked like when it was first created, and here's what it looks like now. Yeah, it's been a wild ride, but how did we get here? Welcome to the entire history of AI. It all started with the work of Alan Turing, at the time mostly known for Turing machines, an abstract model that computes by reading and writing to an infinite tape. But what exactly does that have to do with artificial intelligence, you might be wondering? Well, during the same time that Turing created his universal machines, he also wrote TuroChamp, an algorithm for playing chess that is capable of playing an entire game against a human player at a low level. TuroChamp calculates all potential moves, then assigns point values to each game state and selects the move resulting in the highest value. Turing wrote TuroChamp at a time when computers were not yet powerful enough to run the program, but he didn't allow a lack of technology to get in his way. Instead, he tested and verified TuroChamp by manually playing out chess games, making TuroChamp the first ever AI algorithm, also officially crowning Turing as the father of AI, though at the time it wasn't called that. You see, it would be a few years before the term artificial intelligence was officially coined, giving computer scientists their first of many buzzwords, and also dreams of a future of flying cars and robot butlers. Little did they know that it would take us decades and a few $billion to create a plastic ball that turns off a light, but we're not there just yet. Before we had Alexa, we first had Shoe Box, the closest thing that engineers had at the time to a modern day Siri. IBM developed Shoe Box, a machine capable of recognizing up to 16 spoken words at a time by using a microphone to capture sound waves. The microphone diaphragm vibrates in response to sound pressure, which is then turned into electrical current. Converting sound into electrical impulses was not an easy feat. Here is an example of Shoe Box in action, taking voice commands and executing them.
6, 7, 8, plus 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, minus subtotal.
If Alan Turing is the father of artificial intelligence, then IBM should be considered his prodigal son. Keep in mind that this is one of the first live demonstrations of a machine capable of processing on its own. Shoe Box may not seem very impressive to us after using Siri to play music, get travel directions, and write messages, but the fact that it could autonomously recognize and process voice commands laid the groundwork for our next breakthrough. Eliza, an early natural language program that simulated a psychotherapist, soon put our Shoe Box to shame. See, Eliza was so ahead of its time that people had really deep and meaningful conversations with it, despite it not understanding a thing they were saying. Eliza's core was deceptively simple. It wasn't true language understanding. Eliza scanned user input for specific words or patterns in sentences like sad or I feel, then after recognizing a pattern, outputting pre-written responses. Imagine talking to a wall and thinking that the wall cares. Eliza was impressive for its time and is considered by many the first ever chatbot. Here is an example of Eliza at work. Now keep in mind that this is a very old video and we're lucky to even have any footage of it.
Well, my boyfriend made me come here.
Your boyfriend made you come here?
He says I'm depressed much of the time.
I'm sorry to hear that you're depressed.
It's true. I am unhappy.
Do you think coming here will help you not to be unhappy?
Thanks to Eliza, for the first time ever, the general public believed they were having a genuine conversation with a machine, and so the seeds of ChatGPT were sown. Now, at the same time that Apollo 11 landed Armstrong on the moon, SRI International had a much more impressive creation, Shakey the Robot. Equipped with the most modern tech, a TV camera, and a rangefinder, Shakey could build a basic map of its surroundings, didn't simply follow pre-programmed instructions, and planned and executed tasks like pushing objects, navigating obstacles, and stacking blocks. Just imagine the damage that this thing could do on top of a Roomba. Shakey would often jerk and tremble, giving it its signature name. Its brain was a room-filling computer, the SDS-940. The entire project was well documented and showcased the potential of what intelligent machines could be capable of. Shakey was the first robot to to implement logical reasoning, paving the way for Atlas and Osimo, humanoid robots capable of walking and running. However, it didn't do it well enough. You see, Shakey would be the last major breakthrough for nearly 2 decades, until IBM released DeepBlue and stunned the public by challenging the world chess champion Garry Kasparov. Using a parallel process, DeepBlue evaluates up to 200 million positions per second using 30 Power 2 superchips, a serious upgrade from TuroChamp's pen and paper. Kasparov beat DeepBlue during the first match in 1996, 4-2, which was expected at the time as no one had ever seen a machine beat a chess grandmaster. However, just a year later, the unthinkable happened. A legendary rematch between DeepBlue and Kasparov marked the first time in history that a computer beat a world chess champion under standard chess rules. During the match, DeepBlue made such an unexpected and creative move that after his loss, Kasparov accused IBM of cheating, suggesting that human grandmasters were involved behind the scenes. Kasparov's defeat marked the beginning of AI's domination in strategy games. Just a few years later, in a Dota 2 match, OpenAI would go on to defeat the reigning back-to-back international champions OG in similar fashion. While DeepBlue is important, there's another key factor I haven't mentioned yet. It took companies decades to figure this one out. By feeding large amounts of data sets into algorithms, machines could start learning on their own, and soon machine learning became the new buzzword, culminating in IBM's creation of Watson, capable of processing up to 500 gigs of information per second, the equivalent of reading 1 million books per second. They pitted this beast against the reigning Jeopardy champions in 2011. Here's a clip of Watson in action.
Watson. Who is Franz Liszt?
You are right.
What is violin?
Good.
Who is the church lady?
Yes. Watson.
What is narcolepsy?
You are right. And with that, you move to $36,681.
Needless to say, they didn't stand a chance. It was like David versus Goliath, except David had no slingshot. Thanks to Watson's popularity, a few years later, Siri and Alexa had become household names. These chatbots brought AI into our homes, helping us set reminders, play music, and settle bets on obscure trivia, and most importantly, turning off our lights. And just like that, AI became mainstream. At the turn of the decade, the same company that beat the reigning TI champions was cooking up something special. Before OpenAI released their special project, GitHub beat them to it with the release of Copilot. Within just 2 years, 41% of all code on GitHub was written by AI. Whether that code is good and functional is still up for debate. What isn't debatable is the meteoric impact that OpenAI's release of ChatGPT had on the world. Artists used AI to generate novel artworks, musicians collaborated with AI to compose new beats, and writers harnessed AI to overcome writer's block. And even though OpenAI was said to be a non-profit, the fact that Sam Altman, OpenAI's founder, drives around in a $4 million car does not bother me in the slightest. After all, this man helped me cook up some valid essays. So what's the bottom line? AI technology is booming right now. Generative AI is only one of many industries taking advantage of everything AI has to offer. Self-driving cars like Tesla and Waymo are already flooding our streets. Elon Musk recently said that Tesla is not a car, but rather a robot on 4 wheels. Soon they'll be releasing Grok, a chatbot that is supposedly superior to ChatGPT. The way that AI is headed is very promising. Now, you might be wondering what this means for companies and workers alike. Nvidia has seen a meteoric rise thanks to the large demand for GPUs required to run AI models. It's like the gold rush of the 1850s, but the shovels are graphics cards. OpenAI has upwards of 10,000 GPUs to run all of their services. We are currently in an artificial intelligence bubble, and those who choose to participate rather than watching from the sidelines are being rewarded. Even solo and indie developers like Peter Levels have shifted towards exclusively making AI applications. Maybe you're a software developer like me, in which case the threat of AI replacing jobs has never seemed so real, and as a result, many have pushed back against it. It will without a doubt end entire job markets, just like the invention of the plow did with farmers. But it may not be as bad as it sounds. In theory, AI should bring the cost of goods down and also free up more of people's time. The entertainment industry like YouTube will see a drastic increase in demand as individuals gain more and more leisure time. We're already seeing the shift most people are taking from their careers to content creators. The Primeagen and Pirate Software are perfect examples of this. Even major public figures like RFK have noticed this increase in demand. Moreover, the shift towards AI has also brought a resurgence to the topic of universal basic income. For example, here's Elon Musk and his take on UBI.
There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better. What to do about mass unemployment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice.
But that is a topic for a different video. This was the entire history of AI, or at least most of it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.